Hey everyone, I'm the Canadian lad, and I just got back from watching Thunderbolts for the second time, and oh man, I've got a lot to say. And honestly, 95% of it is really good. This movie can make you cry without killing someone important. If you've ever struggled with feeling alone or like you don't have purpose, this film, it gets you. It's surprisingly deep. There is so much hurt in this thing. And I truly believe Marvel found the perfect balance between humor and emotion in this film. Characters weren't just trying to say funny things, they were naturally being funny. They weren't trying to crack silly jokes during important missions, it's the situations that became funny. And visually, this movie looks a lot different than what we usually see in a Marvel film. And it has everything to do with director Jake Schreier. The last time I felt this emotional in a Marvel film was during Guardians 3, No Way Home, and Deadpool 3. And there's always been a rumor out there that most Marvel films are not directed by actual directors, but by the studio heads pulling the strings. Well, this one shuts that rumor down. It feels like a real filmmaker's vision. It hits in ways we haven't felt from the MCU in a long time. Sure, I've got a few nitpicks, but honestly, the good absolutely outweighs the bad. When Marvel first announced Thunderbolts, a lot of us were like, why though? But after watching it, you'll get it. They made it make sense. If you think about it, this movie is a sequel to two separate films and one show: Black Widow, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And the ending of this film perfectly sets the stage for this team to take on Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. So let me explain the ending of this film and break down the post-credit scenes. And yes, the post-credit scene matters this time. It's not just a random joke or a throwaway gag. It actually pushes the MCU forward. But let's wanna know how you can meet the Thunderbolts as they hit the big screen? Do you need the backstories of Marvel's upcoming heroes right now? Welcome to the one place where anything you can imagine is real. Let me show you, it's Marvel Future Fight. This game has over 270 Marvel characters from the MCU, X-Men, Spider-Verse, even deep-cut legends from comic runs like Fear itself. All in one game, a legendary mashup. And yes, that includes costumes inspired by Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts just in time for the release of the movie. Marvel Future Fight standing strong with Marvel fans for 10 years. And here's to the next 10, 20 years to come. Happy 10th anniversary, Marvel Future Fight. So let me tell you, Marvel Future Fight is an action RPG featuring over 270 characters and 900 plus unique uniforms, many of which took inspiration from iconic moments within Marvel Comics and the MCU. And for those who have played before, this game has evolved. The hero lineup, uniforms, content, and graphics have all expanded, making it even better than prior. If you love Marvel, you will love how authentic Marvel Future Fight feels, especially with its tons of hero costumes inspired by the comics and the MCU. And celebrating a big 10th anniversary with a major update shows they're dedicated. And the upcoming Thunderbolts content proves they're always bringing fresh excitement from the MCU. It's a blast for any Marvel fan like myself. So become your favorite Marvel hero and create your own universe in Marvel Future Fight by clicking the link in my description. It's completely free to download. Also, if you get it now, you'll receive a free tier for hero, 50% off all uniforms, and 10,000 crystals to celebrate its 10th birthday. Congrats to Marvel Future Fight and Nat Marvel on amazing 10 years, and to all Marvel fans in general for being part of this awesome journey. Now, since you lads are here to find out what the post-credit scene really means, let's quickly rewind and recap the movie. Don't worry, I'm not gonna take forever, just enough to give you the context you need. The movie opens with Yelena working for Vel, and we learn that Yelena, Ghost, Taskmaster, and John Walker are all part of Vel's little Black Ops crew, doing shady missions behind the scenes. But Valentina is under investigation for her ties to a sketchy weapons company called Oxcorp, and the government begins impeachment proceedings. Bucky is a freshly elected congressman. He's helping the investigation from the inside, and he's getting secret intel from Vel's own assistant, Mel. So Vel has to do a lot of cleaning up, so that no investigation can incriminate her. And the last bit of evidence that could take her down are the Thunderbolts themselves, so they must be eradicated. And then there'll be no evidence left of any wrongdoing of Valentina. So Vel sends all of them in a vault where they think they're on a mission to kill each other, but in reality, they were all sent there to get killed. No witnesses, no loose ends. Ghost immediately takes out Taskmaster with a headshot, and the team slowly realizes this isn't a mission, it's a setup. They then discover a person here named Bob, not realizing this is actually Sentry, another secret project that Vel was working on, and Bob turned out to be the only survivor. Although he's still a super soldier, but Sentry is more powerful than a million exploding suns. Vel trains him in a new facility, which is the old Avengers Tower, but now bought by Vel and rebranded as the Watchtower. Vel introduces Bob as the new superhero, the Sentry, and the Thunderbolts all go up up against him. But Sentry probably only uses 0.25% of his powers and also turns against Vel, because from his point of view, he's basically a god. So why should he take orders from someone else? That's when the Void takes over, the dark side of Sentry, and he unleashes chaos on New York, dragging people into the Void itself. And once you're in there, you're trapped with the worst traumas from your past. It's pure nightmare fuel. But while the city is losing its mind, Yelena steps up. She steps into the Void, hoping to reach the real Bob, the innocent guy buried under all that darkness. The rest of the Thunderbolts also join in, and they actually pull it off. Together, they help Bob regain control. Bob doesn't destroy the Void, but he manages to lock it deep inside himself instead of letting it take over. And just when it looks like Vel's about to get exposed, she pulls one last move and flips the chaos on its head, brings the Thunderbolts out in front of the press, and spins the whole thing. She declares them the new Avengers. The film ends with the world hailing the Thunderbolts, now the new Avengers, as heroes. Alright, so let's talk about the post-credit scene first, and then I'll explain the mid-credit scene. Only because the post-credit scene is what really matters, and it was directed by the Russo brothers, who are currently filming Avengers Doomsday as we speak. So in a way, this post-credit scene is our first glimpse into Avengers Doomsday. Not to say it is a scene directly from Doomsday, but more like a pre-shoot that they shot only for this film. It picks up 14 months after the events of Thunderbolts. We see the full team, Yelena, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, Ghost, John Walker, and Sentry, all inside their brand new base Watchtower. It looks super high-tech with monitors, gadgets, and even a new AI assistant. It's safe to assume this is where the team will be operating from in Doomsday. The main door to this floor also has a brand new A logo for the Avengers, and all of them also have this logo embedded on their brand new suits. But let's focus on Bucky's new suit for a second. It features a red star on the right sleeve, and a tactical black vest that straps all the way around with a utility belt. This version of Bucky is clearly inspired by his time as Revolution from Captain America's Sentinel of Liberty number 5. In this issue, Bucky takes on the codename Revolution after taking down the original one, all in an effort to infiltrate and destroy the Outer Circle, a shadowy group pulling strings behind global events. And honestly, I love that Marvel went there. The Russo brothers and Stephen McFeely already gave us the Winter Soldier, one of the greatest MCU films ever. So it's no surprise this scene oozes that same grounded spy thriller energy. I'm betting this isn't the last time we'll see this suit. Bucky's gonna wear it in Doomsday, or maybe an even better upgrade. Bucky also wore this suit in the latest Thunderbolts comics released in 2023. We see the team in a heated debate about deciding their new name. They were just told that Sam Wilson, aka Captain America, filed a copyright for the name Avengers. Yes, Sam's putting together his own team, as we saw teased at the end of Brave New World.
When that time comes, make sure the suit's ready. The world needs the Avengers.
For real?
Yeah.
So now the question is, why would Sam Wilson, a guy who's forgiven half the villains he has fought, suddenly have beef with this new team, especially when they're trying to redeem themselves? And here's my theory. Sam's problem isn't with them, it's with who's backing them. From his perspective, this team is being popped up by Valentina, a known manipulator with shady motives. Yes, Yelena did tell Val, "We own you now," but Sam doesn't know that. As far as he sees it, this team's working for her, not the other way around. Plus, the fact that Bucky, his old partner, is running with a different crew instead of backing Sam's Avengers, yeah, that might sting a bit. Still, I don't think Marvel's gonna stretch this out too long. I'm willing to bet Sam and this new team patch things up in the first act of Avengers Doomsday. This whole suing for the name subplot, it feels more like a temporary clash than a full-on feud. Because deep down, Sam's not the kind of a guy who excludes people, especially the ones who are trying to do better. Now, John Walker mentions he has read what people on the internet are saying about them, and the internet isn't buying them as real Avengers. It's an uphill battle for this team to be taken seriously and get proper credibility. Yelena then says there's a huge space crisis, and no one's telling them anything about it, which is wild, because if this team is supposed to be Earth's new defenders, why are they being kept in the dark? This right here tells us the government still doesn't trust them fully. They're giving them the title, but not the proper intel. Yelena commands the AI assistant to run a threat analysis, and that's when Alexei, aka Red Guardian, shows up in a jumpsuit, with multiple brands sponsoring it. My guy's capitalizing his new job better than anyone else in the team. He has a great comedic scene where Red Guardian plans to get around Sam Wilson's copyright by renaming the team the New Avengers with a Z. It's a hilarious dry humor scene, and David Harbour delivers the lines perfectly. The conversation gets interrupted when Yelena's tablet identifies a ship entering the atmosphere, and Bucky calmly recommends pulling up a satellite image. Now this moment might seem small, but it says a lot. Throughout the film, Yelena has been the leader of the group, and she still is in the post-credit scene. But we all know Bucky is the veteran here, the seasoned one. The one who has been through more wars than anyone should. And with just one line, the Russos and Stephen McFeely give us a quiet nod that as long as Bucky is here, he's gonna stand shoulder to shoulder with Yelena, not behind her. Alexei then says they don't need to fire up the jets because they have the Sentry. But Bob quickly reminds them that using his full power means risking another Void-level catastrophe. Then the ship enters the atmosphere, and the team goes closer to this screen and sees an enhanced close-up of the ship. And that's where we see this is the exact same ship from Fantastic Four First Steps. And just to make sure we catch it, the ship slowly tilts, revealing the iconic Four logo. And if that's not enough, Marvel also played the Fantastic Four background score while revealing the logo. Now this is something Marvel has never done before, because it could potentially be spoiling the ending of their own movie. Not just any movie, it's Fantastic Four. Now if the Fantastic Four are on that ship, it probably means they will lose their battle against Galactus. Their home will get destroyed and they will barely escape to Earth 616, our main MCU timeline, using this very ship. But in the trailer of Fantastic Four, we're shown that the ship is not leaving this planet, it's going towards it. So what do you think could be the reason here? Did Marvel show us this scene in reverse to mislead us? Let me know your thoughts about this. Now what if it's not the Fantastic Four? What if the ship is empty? Or worse, what if it's someone else entirely? Like, I don't know, Dr. Doom? Imagine that. Everyone's expecting Reed and the gang, and instead, boom, Doom walks out. That would be such a Marvel move. But if you want my honest take, I do think it's the Fantastic Four in there. Now, if Marvel's willing to reveal something so massive this early on before that movie even drops, then I'm almost certain about one thing. Even if Dr. Doom doesn't show up in the Fantastic Four movie, we're 100% getting a Doomsday post-credit scene in it. This is not a maybe, that's a guarantee at this point. Also, if you notice, John Walker is still using his bent shield 14 months later. Now, either the steel that it was made out of is just too strong to unbend, or if you do try unbending it, it would snap the whole thing in two. Or maybe he's just too lazy to fix it. Also, this is the longest post-credit scene in the MCU, and it was literally shot a month ago.
That got filmed a month ago, I think.
Wow.
I was there. I did not direct it. That comes from the set of a movie that is going into production right now.
So in a lot of ways, this post-credit scene broke every rule of the MCU. Now, Thunderbolts is the last movie in the MCU linear timeline leading up to Avengers Doomsday, which is set to release on May 1st next year. Fantastic Four does release after this film, but judging by the post-credit scene, it looks like that movie will take place during the 14 months time jump. Marvel might be using the Fantastic Four to warn about the arrival of Dr. Doom in a similar way that Bruce Banner was used to warn about the arrival of Thanos in Infinity War.
Thanos is coming. He's coming.
Just imagine this. Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben crash into Earth 616, and the first thing they say is, "There's something coming. His name is Victor Von Doom." And man, it feels so good to finally get a post-credit scene that means something, that shows us the direction again. Thunderbolts totally delivered on that front. Next up is Fantastic Four First Steps, releasing on July 25th. And that's where we will finally learn what happened to the team before they crash-landed in Thunderbolts. Now let's talk about the mid-credit scene, which is not very important in the grand scheme of things in the MCU, but it does show that the team is being heavily marketed to gain public favor. It begins after the first bit of animated credits, a light comedic moment that gives us a breather after the movie's intense climax with the Void and that shocking ending where the Thunderbolts are announced as the new Avengers. We see David Harbour's Red Guardian walking through a grocery store. He makes his way to the cereal aisle and waits for a potential customer to walk by. A lady enters the aisle and he grabs a box of Wheaties with the Thunderbolts team on the front and holds it up proud like a kid on Christmas. The woman just looks at him, takes the box, walks a few feet, and quietly sets it back down at the far end of the aisle before leaving the scene real fast. It's funny, it's awkward, it's very on brand for Alexei. This is a fun moment, giving us some breathing space between the film and the next important credit scene. But if you think about it, this does reflect the public's perception of the new Avengers. The public still doesn't trust this team. they're not rallying behind them like they did with the OG Avengers. There is still fears, still hesitation, still skepticism. Now, I've already watched the movie twice, and I'm planning on watching it again this weekend, and maybe one more time next week, because I'm taking note of all of the hidden details and Easter eggs. I'll be breaking down this whole movie in multiple parts, just like I did with Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, if you want to know how I felt after watching this movie, well, I'm not exaggerating. I think Thunderbolts is a better film than Deadpool and Wolverine and Guardians 3. Why? Because those two films had nostalgia. Deadpool and Wolverine was a love letter to X-Men fans, and Guardians Volume 3 was a send-off. But Thunderbolts is really a movie about misfits trying to do good. Then suddenly it flips and becomes a story about loneliness, about pain, about real human emotion. And that I did not expect from a movie like this. I genuinely believe Marvel outdid itself. This went above and beyond expectation, without any cameos. Of course, I do have some nitpicks, and I'll be sharing those in my full breakdown, but I'll just say this right now. David Harbour and Louis Pullman carried this movie. Not to take anything away from the rest of the cast, they were great too, but these two, they acted their asses off. Most of my complaints have to do with one particular actor.
What?
And some lazy plot lines that I feel could have been avoided with better writing. And with that, I'll end today's video. I'll see you lads in the next one.